Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. Happy Saturday to all of you. Hope you all are having a wonderful and blessed, safe weekend. As most of you know, the hunt for Brian Laundrie continues. There are a lot of speculations pertaining to where he is, if he is alive, if he's been aided by his parents. I was just in the queue looking at other content, and there's some rumors about some woman by the name of Rose. I don't know what that's all about, if he indeed murdered these other said two women, but allegedly it's been said that that case has nothing to do with Miss Petito's case. And people are analyzing him, who he is, what he's about, what does his behavior say about him? And also, the dog bounty hunter is at his house as I speak. I saw that in the queue as well. I don't know what the hell dog is getting ready to do, but anyway, this should be very interesting. It is now becoming a circus act with all the innuendos and speculations. That's where this is getting ready to go. I see that now. It's about to get hectic now that we have a famous person entering into the fold. I want to play you some commentary pertaining to psychoanalyst, psychiatrist's perception of this situation. Hold on one second. This is by Fox 13 Tampa Bay.
To the question some people are asking, is Brian Laundrie alive or dead? Well, we simply can't know that right now, but a renowned psychiatrist believes there are some clues in Laundrie's behavior that might give us a glimpse. Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer joins us live. And Aaron, obviously this is, psychology from the couch, but what did you learn? What did this gentleman or woman say?
Well, the psychiatrist starts by looking at Brian Laundrie's actions, and we have an idea of what he did following Gabby's death. We know that he drove her van all the way back cross country to Florida without her. We know that he's also now accused of using someone else's debit card after Gabby had died. We just don't know whose debit card that was. And then almost as soon as she was reported missing, Brian Laundrie disappeared, not to be heard from again since. So experts have been asking, is this someone who seems like they would take their own life, or is this more like somebody who would take off?
There still weren't any red flags that would indicate we would be here today.
That was Gabby Petito's father on September 15th, telling Fox News he never saw any red flags with Brian Laundrie. But the public,
What's going on out there?
has now seen plenty. That includes Dr. James Heisman, a renowned Florida psychiatrist who's currently writing a book on personality disorders.
This is pretty much something that happens in America and around the world, pretty much under the radar.
Dr. Heisman says it's improper to diagnose Laundrie from afar, but he says the reports and video show signs of narcissism that led to an abusive relationship with Gabby. And it's now on display for the world to see.
Everybody sees the real person.
I was apologizing to him.
A 911 call led up to this interaction with police in Utah. Here's what the caller told police.
What were they doing? We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
Minutes later, Gabby can be seen sobbing as she talked with officers. Laundrie, however, remained calm and seemingly unemotional.
In terms of this disorder, they have no core values.
Dr. Heisman says this knowledge can indicate how a person like that might react under the kind of pressure investigators are putting on Laundrie.
They are very likely to run away, to hide, to think they can get away with it.
Authorities have spent days searching a wildlife refuge near the Laundrie family home in Northport, looking for him, evidence, or both. He's the only person of interest in Gabby's homicide and has been missing since September 14th. Dr. Heisman says even narcissists reach a breaking point.
This is a time when self-harm issues or suicide can be triggered.
And that brings him to the question many are asking. Is Laundrie alive or dead? Dr. Heisman says that likely depends on the extent of any possible personality disorders.
There's a lot of pointing fingers. I didn't do it. I'm not accountable. But there's also those times alone when you can't deny that what's happening in my life is entirely falling apart.
And narcissism is a disorder in which a person has an inflated sense of self-importance. Experts say it can lead to abusive behavior or demeaning behavior. Now, Laundrie, as I said, is accused of using somebody else's debit card. That's what he's wanted for by the FBI. We don't know if that is Gabby's debit card or somebody else's. Unfortunately, as we said from the beginning of this Cynthia. We don't know. It's impossible. It's impossible to know for sure whether he's alive or dead, but there are these clues that certainly authorities are also looking into.
Answers will come in time, that is for sure, one way or
Okay, thank you so much for that. Okay, so I want to talk about what he's saying as far as the cards. Now, I brought you content yesterday that states that they do know that the cards were hers. So I don't know if there's some conflict on the cards, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. You can just use common sense. He was out there in the middle of nowhere. He had to get away back. He drove this woman's car back. There's also some commentary pertaining to him flying back during this alleged trip, which is very speculative and very suspicious. Because what I have to ask myself is, you left, if we are to believe that he flew back during this trip before September 1st, before he finally came back in the van, that means you came back for what is the word I'm looking for? Deceptive reasons. If you flew from Utah, Wyoming, whichever, back before September 1st, to empty the storage unit. We're getting all these rumors about that. And allegedly, some of you are saying the mother said something. If I go with that he did fly back before September 1st, and that means you had full well knowledge of what you did back in Wyoming to this young lady, which is murder. You flew back to empty the storage unit to get rid of any evidence as to start the facade, the ruse, the lie of what happened to Miss Petito. So that means your family had to have had some knowledge that something was awry with you and Miss Petito. Because now we have to ask ourselves, if this is true, allegedly, that he flew back before September 1st, what did you tell your parents? What did you tell them? What reason did you tell them you were coming back on a plane by yourself? Why were you emptying the storage unit? Wouldn't they ask why? Or did you just fly back and say, hey, we had a fight, I just wanted to come on home, and then you went on to the storage unit and took her things out of the house, but wouldn't they see you remove her things? See, these are all the questions you have to ask when you start putting out he said, she said, what somebody did. If he left, if he flew back home to get her things out of the house to put in storage or the dumpster, whichever, the family has knowledge he came back. They had to know something was going on. Did he tell them the truth? Did he tell them that he killed the girl? We had a fight. I got mad. I snapped. Or I just killed her deliberately. What's the truth? How much information do they know of what happened in Wyoming? Did they see him remove her things out of the house? Wouldn't they ask if they saw him removing her things? Would they ask, were you taking her things? What answer did he give? So you have to ask all those pertinent questions. Now we have information. It's so much going on. Hold on one second. I'm trying to see all the things that his behavior is strange. Nonetheless, we know it's strange. Now we have Mr. Dog Bounty Hunter involved. I'm going to play you commentary pertaining to that. It is also by Fox 13 Tampa Bay News. He is walking up to the house. I don't know if they're going to play any audio, but you can go to Fox 13 Tampa Bay if you want to get verification of this said video of Mr. Dog walking up to a yellow house, knocking on the door. But we also now have to ask, what is the role of the parents? How much information do they have of what transpired out there? What is this he said, she said of some woman? I'm hearing something in the queue on another channel about a woman. What is really going on here? Are we really missing something? That's what made me say what I said yesterday in a delicate manner. Was this a ruse to get her out there, to get rid of her, to take her van, get her money? What? I don't know, because this is very strange. If now a woman is coming into the picture of this said storyline. So now I'm having to wonder, is there a relationship? Was there another, or is there another relationship? This is all he said, she said. I was listening to somebody else's channel this evening. I don't really know what they were talking about. I didn't have time to sit there because I wanted to get on here and bring you information that I found on my own. And it doesn't have anything to do with a woman by the name of Rose, whoever that is. I don't know what's going on. But see, this is what happens in these types of stories because, as I say, you don't know the people. All these little intricate details start to come out. Little things about their behavior, money woes, people they dealt with, people they were sleeping with, people they broke up with, relationship issues, parent issues, financial issues, what they were doing for a living, if they quit, if they were working, all those sad things. But I do find it interesting that the one thing that we have not heard in this commentary pertaining to Miss Petito and Mr. Laundrie, where the hell did he work? Come on, y'all. I have not heard one person come out to say where Mr. Laundrie works currently. Hello? Anybody listening? Where does he work? Not one employer has come forward to say, Mr. Laundrie works for us. We are letting Mr. Laundrie go. He still currently works for us. Stay woke. So what the hell's been going on with this couple? No way in the world could they ever have gotten married because I don't believe neither had a full-time job where they clocked in on a clock and got either a hourly wage and or a salary and or benefits. Stay woke. These are not two people that should have ever been in a relationship. That is obvious now.
Can you guess how much this flight cost?
1 second. I'm just bringing you different video commentary out of the queue to bring some type of clarity to the said information pertaining to the young lady. And then I will read you commentary because now there's information about the Utah officers may not have had all the information responding to the Moab incident. I will bring you that after I play these clips of videos. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.
If she's hurt or worse,
This is from Dr. Phil.
I hope they get what's coming. And that includes his folks.
This is her father
Because I'll
speaking.
tell you, right now they are just as complicit in my book. I'm sorry. I understand protecting your kid and all that other stuff. But right now, in my opinion, you're a coward.
19 days passed from when Gabby Petito was reported missing to when investigators discovered her body. That entire time, her fiance, Brian Laundrie, refused to speak to her parents or law enforcement about what may have happened to her. Now, that doesn't mean he did anything wrong, but it does stand to reason that he had information no one else had. Gabby's father said because of Brian's silence, he had no idea to where even begin looking for his missing daughter. Watch this, and then I'm going to have criminal defense attorney Mark Eiglarsh, who also joins us now, weigh in.
We called Ryan, we called the mom, we called the dad, we called the sister, we called every number we could find. And we got no phone calls were picked up, no text messages were returned.
So mom, dad, sister, Brian, nobody took your calls.
No one. I just print out a map, draw a circle, and fill it into an airplane and throw it in the front yard. I don't care. You don't have to say a thing. Just tell me where to start. We'll start.
Well, criminal defense attorney Mark Eiglarsh joins us now. And look, it's real easy to jump to conclusions because his behavior's not helping him.
No. Well, his behavior is not helping us, yes, but it's helping him. His behavior is selfish, it's self-centered, and it's designed exclusively to protect him. He's doing what our Constitution allows him to do. And I see her rolling her eyes, but with utmost respect and love for my dear friend Nancy Grace, I do want to challenge her with one thing. She made it seem that law enforcement were not doing their job by grabbing him when they did see him and bringing him into a station. Nancy, let me finish for the first time ever. The truth of the matter is, the reason why law enforcement did not do that, which we all would have liked, the court of public opinion would have liked that, they didn't do it because we don't live in a third world country. They weren't allowed to do it. The Constitution protected him. He told through his lawyers that I'm not speaking with you.
They didn't have cause to arrest him, but they certainly had the ability and the common sense to keep an eye on him so he didn't just disappear.
Different story.
Exactly.
You're right. Why they didn't, I don't know.
Okay, now Gabby's close friend, Rose Davis, did an exclusive interview with DailyMail.com where she made some extremely troubling allegations. She claimed Brian had a history of being jealous and controlling. Let's hear what she said.
On the outside, he's very charismatic, so it seems very loving. And of course, like any relationship, there was arguments, and she'd come stay at my house when there was arguments, just to like get away.
Do you remember any one particular incident?
Yeah, well, we were supposed to go line dancing, and her drive is about 30 minutes to me. And halfway there, she realized her ID was missing, and so it caused a really big argument because Brian just didn't want her to go out, and it was a jealousy issue, and it caused a huge argument between them, and she came over and cried. I do believe that their relationship, as they kept going on, was getting a little, problematic. I mean, just seemed like there was more and more arguments, and everything she did, I feel like, he thought was wrong. And even as she said in the body cam, he didn't even support her with her blog.
So I've been building my website. So I think it's really stressful. Yeah, I believe that I can do any of it.
That in itself, made me feel like it just continued to get worse.
Do you have a story or a question for me?
Okay, thank you so much. That's Dr. Phil. And for the question about the money, oh mercy, you can borrow a line of credit off a credit card or debit card. So there you have that. Okay. I'm trying to bring up everything I can find pertaining to this situation. I'm just bringing different things pertaining to the case. I'm going to read you something, play you something from Mr. Walsh. One second. Thanks for joining me. You said happy Sunday. You threw me off. I thought, oh my God, did I sleep through the whole day Saturday? Oh my goodness. Hello, honey. Thanks for joining us from Australia. Amen.
What advice do you have for Gabby Petito's family who are going through so much heartbreak right now?
News Nation.
Have another phase, and that is to find the person who did this to their daughter and bring that person to justice. What would you tell them?
I would tell them a lot of things, and I would say to the dad first, because the dad that they are now, this whole family belongs to the horrible worst club in America that I belong to, parents of murdered children. And dads always take it bad because we got that macho testosterone, and we're always thinking about getting even. And when Adam was kidnapped, 6 years old, 1981, worst 2 weeks of my life till they found his severed head in the canal, was the searching and the not knowing. They at least know what happened to Gabby, and they know that the dirtbag that's out there. And, I was building I was a hotel builder, and I had 3 partners. We were building our lifetime project, a $26 million hotel on Paradise Island when Adam was kidnapped. I never went back to the hotel business. I lost my company. I lost 30 pounds. I was set on vengeance to find out who killed Adam so I could have them killed or kill them myself. And I learned that's not the way to go. While I was doing that, my wife started the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which is now 450 employees in Washington, D.C., 5 branches. So something really good came out of Adam's death, and we wanted to make sure he didn't die in vain. So I say to the family, if you want to call me, reach out to me. I have been there. I have been there, and you're going to come to some rough times. You're going to have to go through the roughest trial you've ever heard of in your life because it'll be your own daughter. But you've got to think of all the joy that beautiful girl. Look at her. She's 100 pounds of beautiful, loving girl. Think of all the wonderful days, not the one day when you found out that she had been murdered, but think about all that joy. And finding this guy, all the joy she brought you, but finding this guy is crucial. It's not about closure, Ashley. I never had closure, and it took me 27 years to get the files away from the Hollywood, Florida police and expose the mistakes they had. They had the suspect in '84, Otis Toole, a serial pedophile, and they had to let him go because they bundled the case so badly and covered it up for years. And Toole went on to spend 70 more years roaming the country killing children until we got the files and after 27, he spent 20 some years roaming the country. We got the files after 27 years, and it wasn't about closure. Your heart will always be broken. It was about justice, and that's what this family needs right now. Brian Dirty Laundrie needs to be caught. He needs to be prosecuted, and they need to see that Gabby gets justice, and then they can end that chapter of their life and try to move on. They'll never be the same. They'll always have that open wound in their heart. Birthdays and holidays open it, and it bleeds more. Some days are better than others, but it's not about closure. It's about staying together and being nice to each other, loving each other, and celebrating Gabby's life, and about getting closure so they can close that door and say that Brian Laundrie is right where he belongs, on death row somewhere, or life without prison forever. So that's what's going to be important. And if the family wants to reach out to me, they can. They're hurting right now terribly. They're dealing with this horrible ending to this journey, but I'm there, and I don't know if I'll catch this guy, but the tips are pouring in. The social media world has blown up. Every time I do your show, we get tons of tips. We've handed over 10 good ones, and I want to see that guy go down. And I don't think he's got enough guts to kill himself. That would be the right thing to do if he killed himself.
We've got the tip line up again for you, Johnny, 333787783. I'm going to connect you personally to Gabby Petito's dad after the show, John, and I'm very thankful of you appearing tonight, and thanks for the work you're doing, and good luck with your program tomorrow night as well. John's going to be covering this on In Pursuit tomorrow night on Investigation Discovery. Hopefully your tips out there, America, will help to find Brian Laundrie and find out what happened. Thank you, John Walsh. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Ashley.
Okay, that's that information from News Nation Now. So Mr. Walsh talked to this lady during an interview. There were some negative things in the comments where people were saying she wasn't giving him a chance to talk. You can check that out in the queue if you like. We have dog bounty hunter on the ground at the said house. A lot of rumors, rhetoric pertaining to this situation. I've just brought you a conversation from this Rose character. Young lady who was a friend giving her commentary on what the relationship was like. It's just a lot of things transpiring with this, and it's just, I don't know what words to use. Craziness. I'm going to bring you some other audio from Inside Edition. This is another eyewitness bringing their commentary. And it is a Caucasian female in the video giving her commentary. I will play that said information for you all. Just bringing you different things.
To say they believe they're among the last people to see Gabby Petito alive. This couple says they saw Gabby and Brian Laundrie fighting with waitresses at a Mexican restaurant. They claim Brian showed an explosive temper while Gabby was in tears. Stephen Fabian has more.
New witnesses have come forward describing a fight involving Brian Laundrie shortly before police believe his fiancée, Gabby Petito, was killed.
We just had a front row view to the whole thing. And she was visibly upset. She was crying.
Nina Angelo and her boyfriend, Matt England, say they saw Brian Laundrie having an argument with the staff in this Mexican restaurant in Jackson, Wyoming. The couple says the incident happened on August 27th. 2 weeks after that other now notorious fight, which led police in Utah to separate Gabby and Brian Laundrie. How would you describe his anger level?
I said, this guy is creeping me out. I remember those were my exact words because his temper, you could feel it.
Meanwhile, the search of a vast Florida swamp for Gabby's fiancé continued today. It's 10 days since 23-year-old Brian Laundrie disappeared in the hazardous Carlton Reserve. Police divers are also joining the search, along with cadaver dogs. Could he still be alive? I spoke to wilderness expert Brooke Wright.
How difficult is it for an average person to survive in these woods?
This is such an unrelenting environment, and any number of things here want to hurt you. It's wet. There's venomous snakes, there's alligators, spiders. Everything out here is incredibly difficult to deal with.
She showed me how he could survive for weeks by eating insects.
You've got worms. Worms are also a good source of...
You could eat that?
You could eat that. There's a variety of things that live in here that are suitable to eat.
Another possibility, Laundrie is long gone.
This is I-75, which cuts right through the nature reserve where investigators have been searching for Brian Laundrie for the past few days. Now, this interstate runs from here in Florida all the way north to Canada. So if you take a ride on this road for just a few days, you can get pretty much anywhere.
John Walsh, host of Investigation Discoveries In Pursuit, is featuring the case on his show. He has Brian Laundrie squarely in his sights and doubts he was ever in the swamp.
The last day, we got 10 very solid tips on the In Pursuit hotline, and we turned those over to the U.S. Marshals and the FBI. So tonight, I'm hoping the world will be a lot smaller place for Brian Laundrie.
Reported sightings have been called into cops from across Florida.
Callers advising that a civilian possibly sees Brian Laundrie.
And police have identified the man in this photo taken by a game cam 500 miles from the search site. Turns out it's not Laundrie. Northport Police and the FBI continue taking heat for letting Laundrie slip through their fingers.
I asked one question to the FBI and the Northport Police. How the hell did that guy get out of the house right in front of your eyes?
Okay, that's said information by Inside Edition. So the girl who was an eyewitness, she and the boyfriend or whomever, they're giving their commentary. As you see, there are a lot of people starting to come out to talk. And then we're going to now go to Eyewitness News, ABC 7 NY. This is pertaining to the neighbor who says she saw Brian after his return. Just bringing you different things in the queue, you guys.
They went for a walk in the neighborhood. That was about all I saw.
Okay, so you saw him, September, I'm sure you don't remember the day, right?
I want to say it was Thursday or Friday before we knew Gabby was missing.
Okay, great. So what did you see?
They, as a family, the mom, dad, and him came out to take a stroll in the neighborhood. That was really all.
You didn't think anything of it?
No, not at all.
Looked like a normal interaction.
Yeah, we'd seen them do that before, so it never seemed strange to us that they would go for a walk through the neighborhood. So.
And then Gabby, over the last 2 years, you used to see her all the time?
They actually hadn't been in the house for the last 2 years. Okay. The whole family, they didn't actually, there was somebody renting the house. And so, but once they moved in, we did see her occasionally. Yeah. Not very often. We saw Brian more so as they were working on the van, but we didn't see her terribly often, every now and then.
So you saw him working on the van. What was he doing?
Woodwork, putting up paneling or making a bench, it looked like of some sort in the van. We didn't know that they were converting the van. We just knew that they were working on it. So,
and when you saw him come back, your initial reaction was he's back from his trip.
Yeah, because at that point, I didn't know. I didn't know that she formally lived here. I thought maybe she was visiting. So, because we just, they hadn't been here very long, so I didn't know if she was just a girlfriend visiting and that sort of thing.
What's your reaction to all this now? How you guys have been a front row seat to this thing? How are you feeling?
It's very surreal. Very surreal in the sense that you just never expect to see or know somebody in your neighborhood that was either with somebody and had something terrible happen, or could have been, much less, actually the perpetrator of something terrible happening to somebody.
And the Laundries, how well do you know them, the parents?
Not very well, just to say hi on the street and that sort of deal. So that was usually about the extent of it.
Do you feel, look, you're a taxpayer of Florida, you're a taxpayer of the United States. There's a lot going on right now looking for him. Do you kind of wish that the parents were
talking a little bit more, or not? Do you think?
If they have knowledge, yes, I would love to say, please share more information. If they don't have knowledge, then there's only so much they can do as too. I think it's yes, it's crazy that they're going through this just for one person, but I really hope it's a fruitful search. That if nothing else, at least it provides answers to what the heck happened.
ABC7 is the source for that said information. ABC7 NY. I'm bringing you different commentary pertaining to people and their opinions pertaining to Mr. Laundrie and Ms. Petito. John Walsh has been talking about this with his program on the Discovery Channel. Commentary with Miss Grace and Mr. Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil has also talked to Mr. John. You now hear a neighbor. This young lady, she has like pinkish color hair. She's giving commentary. We've also heard from Miss Charlene Guthrie, who also, she and her husband are giving commentary pertaining to his behavior when he got back. Mr. Got me thrown off. The bounty hunter now, dog bounty hunter is now on the ground down there in Florida at the Laundrie's home. So it is just becoming, I don't really have words to all that's going on, but it's a lot of people getting involved and giving their said commentary. And you have the couple who saw them at the restaurant and his behavior that day. As I said, no one is really saying what actually happened in the restaurant. We just know allegedly he was going back and forth, trying to talk to somebody there. Ms. Petito seemed visibly upset at whatever was transpiring. But see, that's the whole gist of everything. We don't know what really happened in the restaurant because no one is saying. We don't know what happened when the police had the cam talking to she and he. No one pressed charges against the other one, so they had to let them go. But for those of you who do not know and didn't watch my commentary yesterday, Moab is conducting an independent investigation into the officer's handling of that said incident between Miss Petito and Mr. Laundrie. But the city is saying they do not have any indication of any improprieties done by the officers handling of that said incident. But it is being investigated independently by the Moab, Utah, I guess police department. So I thought I'd give you all that information for those of you who did not know about that. I'm just trying to go in the queue and find anything that would be of relevance to this set information, because I do have something I want to bring to you pertaining to this storyline. Hold on one second. Thank y'all so much for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $BeganG129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. So at the beginning of this commentary, I did bring you a psychiatrist's analyzation of Brian Laundrie's behavior, and his behavior deemed suspect. As I stated, we're to believe that he flew here before the 1st, retrieving her belongings out of their house and putting them into storage or discarding them. That's very peculiar behavior, because one would have to say, when you touch down in Florida, why would you then go back? So did you already kill her, flew here, got rid of her things, then flew back out there to where the van was and then drove that van back? And perhaps that's why you took money off said cars, was to fuel the van back to Florida. See, this is why I always tell you that everything you need to know about a story is at the beginning of the story. So all the hoopla about the money being taken off the cards, 9 times out of 10, that was to fuel the van to get it back to Florida. Because if I'm to believe that he flew back before the 1st, he had no reason to go back out there. If you've murdered the young lady, why would you go back? Because you were setting the stage up. You were setting the stage up to make it look like she left you. But see if you had any sense. And if it's true that you flew back before the 1st, you should have left the van out there, because you didn't have any problems killing her. So why in the hell would you have any problems leaving the damn van out there? The reward's $120,000. Okay, I haven't heard anything about that. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Just bringing you commentary pertaining to everything that's going on with this story. different commentaries pertaining to his behavior. The search is still continuing for this man. There's alleged sighting of him in Canada. Some people thinking he went back out west. That would make no sense to me that he would go back out west. The dog, the bounty hunter, is down on the ground. You can go in the queue to Fox 13 and watch him go up to the said door and knock on the screen door of the home. There's also commentary pertaining to everything that happened in week 2 of the investigation, and that is on for New York News. I'm just going in the queue, finding anything that will be of help. I'm going to bring you some commentary to a family member who has spoken out, and this is in the queue. If you need verification, ABC 7 New York News. This is his sister speaking. 1 second, please. Thank you for joining me. Hello, everybody. One second, I'm letting it upload.
Raising questions and raising eyebrows in the case of a missing young woman from Long Island, Gabby Petito, on a cross-country trip with her boyfriend.
This is a week ago.
Last month. The fiance and his parents are clamming up, but his sister is speaking to cops and the FBI and speaking out in an interview with ABC News. Long Island reporter Kristen Thorne live in the Suffolk County hamlet of East Islip with the story and details. Kristen.
Bill, the last time we were able to speak on camera with Brian Laundrie's attorney here in East Islip was 2 days ago. We have not been able to speak with him since. Police say at this point they do not believe that there is any criminality involved in Gabby Petito's disappearance. And Cassie Laundrie, who we spoke exclusively with here at ABC, says she has told police everything she knows. In an exclusive interview with ABC, Cassie Laundrie says she hasn't spoken to her brother since he returned to their parents' home in Florida.
I haven't been able to talk to him. I wish I could talk to him.
Laundrie says she's told police everything she knows about her brother, Brian Laundrie, and his fiancée, Gabby Petito, and their cross-country road trip.
I've cooperated every way that I can. I wish I had information or I would give more. This is all I have is I gave to the police.
Petito's father says he isn't sure Cassie Laundrie is being fully transparent, given the fact that her parents and her brother haven't said one word to police.
I'm hoping that the pleas and the begging and the community and the, entire damn planet knocked some sense into her where she's like, I gotta speak.
Police in Northport, Florida, where the Suffolk County natives had been living with Laundrie's parents, are continuing to put pressure on the Laundrie family today by doing more media appearances. But the family doesn't seem to be budging. Neither does Brian Laundrie, who is in a known location to investigators in Florida. Police say they're still processing whatever they found in the couple's camper van. Laundrie and the van were in Florida for more than a week before anyone even knew Petito was missing.
We've been able to
definitely
get some material out of that van. We are certainly not at the point of revealing what that was.
Cassie Laundrie told ABC it was not uncommon for her brother and Petito to fight. Yesterday, police in Utah released body cam video of their response to a 911 call for an argument between the two near Arches National Park in Moab.
What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm crying. We've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
Laundrie had scratches all over his upper body. Petito was determined to be the primary aggressor. Cassie Laundrie says in her mind, none of that matters.
Me and my family want Gabby to be found safe. She's like a sister and my children love her. And all I want is for her to come home safe and sound and this to be just a big misunderstanding.
Petito is believed to be missing in Wyoming.
All right, that's New York 7 ABC News. Thank you so much. Just bringing you said commentary pertaining to this case. Different commentary. As you see, we now have two people saying that's close to the victim that they did fight. So now Mr. Laundrie's sister has spoken a week ago, and Miss Rose, who is a friend of the decedent, has also said they fought. So then that leads us to wonder, why were they together? We have a neighbor saying she hardly ever saw the girl over at their apartment at the house, rather, that the house was a rental, but then she saw Mr. Laundrie more. So then we have to ask ourselves, what was really going on with the family in the house? Who were they renting the house to before these two went in the house? So what's really going on with the house and this and that? Just a lot of very interesting information pertaining to these people. I'm bringing you everything I can find in the queues. I know a lot of you stay busy, and most of us don't really have time to just go through all this information because I'm a tuber, but I do not keep up with everything that's going on, going through social media all day and night because, like I said, I have to sleep and have to have a life myself, so I can't go through the queue all day trying to look for stories and this and that, but I try to bring you the most that has a news source and not a he said, she said fashion. I look for that, Val. So far, I haven't seen a cause of death, just that it was homicide, sweetheart. There is something new in this. Let's see, that's something they're talking about live now from Fox. His chances of survival. Well, he won't need any chances of survival if indeed he is somewhere safe and sound. Because I don't believe he's in the wilderness. I don't believe that. I believe he's somewhere very safe and sound. I believe he's possibly playing mind games with social media and The Wire. That's what I believe. I'm just trying to bring everything I think. This is something I want to talk about too. We got some dirty people out here playing mind games. Whoever you are pretending to be Brian, stop it. If it's the real Brian, you need to stop it. You need to turn yourself in. Somebody called and made a fake 911 call to the house saying something about there was gunshots or something. I'm going to play you that because I'm going to bring you everything that's going on, innuendos, speculation, stories. We're going to tie it all in. Everything's up for perception. Thank you all for joining me. Here is the said information by Fox 13. This was uploaded 20 hours ago. Fox 13, Tampa Bay.
Tribute taking place tonight in Gabby Petito's hometown of Blue Point, New York. The community lighting up the night for Gabby as they placed candles and luminaries along driveways and sidewalks. Those who knew the 22-year-old say she radiated love and light. Now, the nation's attention, though, has turned to her fiance and the person of interest in the case, Brian Laundrie, who hasn't been seen in more than a week now and is also wanted now by the FBI. Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer is taking a closer look at Brian's behavior leading up to Gabby's death and afterward. But first, we go to Fox 13's Evan Axelbank live outside the Laundrie home in Northport. And Evan, we saw there was some police activity there earlier this evening. What was that about?
Yeah, and we have learned that the officers came here, Chris, because of the report of shots fired. That was a false report. Let's show you what it looked like when officers got here around 6:45. Dozens of officers arrived with their lights flashing. They surrounded the house, knocked, and checked the outside of the property. We heard the officers start to ask if the address from where the call came from was handy, meaning the 911 call. Officers left here after about 6 minutes. Northport police confirmed afterwards that it was a false alarm, that they had gotten a call for shots fired. Whoever filed that report will be under investigation. As far as the search for Brian Laundrie goes, we have learned that his lawyer said that his parents were concerned that before he went into the swamp, he might hurt himself. Northport police swarmed the swamps of the Carlton Reserve, intending to cover every one of the 25,000 gator and snake-infested acres.
We're working as hard to find him now as we did on day one.
Tracking him is difficult, given Brian Laundrie's attorney told Fox today that Laundrie's parents said he did not take his cell phone or wallet when he left Tuesday, September 14th. The attorney said they were worried he might hurt himself.
That's really what's carrying us through, is to try to find Brian and try to put closure to this investigation.
People who also need closure are Gabby Petito's loved ones, like Noreen Gibbons. It was at her home in Oregon that Gabby and Brian planned to finish their cross-country trip.
The last text I got from Gabby was she sent me her video, that van life video.
Noreen stopped by the vigil tonight in Gabby's honor on Long Island to feel closer to the young lady who was like a granddaughter to her.
She is what you get. She radiated life and love.
Police will resume their search for Brian at the Carlton Reserve on Saturday. They've already combed the entire Northport side of the reserve and now much of the Venice side. Still, they ask, where is Brian?
We're not wasting our time out here. We are doing our due diligence to find Brian and an area that intelligence had led us that he could possibly be in.
You saw the vigil tonight. It is going to be a weekend of mourning in Long Island. Gabby's funeral has been scheduled for Sunday at noon. We are, of course, still waiting for the entire autopsy report to be done and then released. Chris, back to you.
A vigil for Gabby, a search that continues for the man who may know more about her death than anyone. Evan Axelbank live for us tonight in Northport. Thanks, Evan.
All right, that's the sad information coming out of Fox 13 Tampa Bay News. I'm going to head and read this commentary, and then we're going to chop it up in the chat. Thank you for the 45 minutes of listening to the said information. Every piece of information I just brought you is in the YouTube queue. You can scroll over to verify every set of information and watch the video content for yourself. The next source is an article pertaining to this case. It's by Fox News. Gabby Petito homicide. Utah officers may not have had all information responding to the Moab incident, experts say. Moab officers interpreted the August 12th incident as a mental health issue. Fox News is the source. Hold on one second. Let me see if they're going to play this. Hope they do. Hold on, you guys. Somebody says here, roadside arrest could have saved Gabby Petito's life. Legal expert. Criminal defense attorney Philip Holloway argues there was probable cause for an arrest to be made during the August roadside incident with Brian Laundrie. I don't know. That's the thing. Everything's up for interpretation because, as I said, neither wanted to press charges on the other one. So therefore, they didn't. Now, they said it was minutes later they pulled them over. So if you were believing the cause that she was slapped, I don't know why they didn't, since they had eyewitnesses. So that's a very tricky situation. And I don't know the laws out there. Thank you all for joining me. Hold on, you guys. I got to add these commercials. Everybody's got commercials. Let's see. I hope it doesn't buffer badly. Well, trying to get it to play. Thanks for joining me. Yes, I've mentioned that in the chat. Dog bounty hunter is on the ground at the Laundries as we are speaking down in Florida. It's buffered. I don't know if this is going to play well.
Boyfriend Brian Laundrie. The operation is centered on a vast Florida nature reserve, which is.
I'm going to try playing it from another source. Hold on a minute, because it's a little bit low. Each device plays different. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it up here. Thank you all for joining me. Yes, it's very surreal. I have to drop the link in order for you to use. When I drop the link, nobody hits it. So that's why I wasn't wasting my breath going through all of that. Thank you all so much. Yes, Melissa, anytime, sweetheart. I'm trying to get this video to upload. I hate these videos in the articles because they buffer a lot. Let me see if it'll come up. Thank you all for joining me. Well, now it's a commercial. Lord of mercy. Well, like I said, he's not accustomed to living on his own and in the wilderness, so he probably won't make it. You have to have a mindset for that type of lifestyle.
Is now underway for Gabby Petito's missing boyfriend, Brian Laundrie. The operation is centered on a vast Florida nature reserve, which is mostly underwater and filled with snakes and alligators. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Philip Holloway. He's a former assistant DA and a police officer. And Philip, they called off the search at the Carlton Reserve on Monday, then they started it again on Tuesday. You appear to be skeptical that Brian Laundrie they're going to find him alive.
Well, most people, Trace, good morning, by the way, most people are incapable of functioning in the world for very long without leaving some evidence of their very existence. The very fact that they are searching in a swamp in Florida, as you mentioned, filled with alligators and snakes and all other manner of incorrigible creatures, that's not a place that's hospitable to human life. And the fact that they had cadaver dogs in there, I think yesterday, and they've got divers and they've got sonar, they're not looking in places where people are going to be camping. So if you look at what they're doing and how they're searching, Trace, it tells me that they are not looking to recover Brian Laundrie alive. And we already know, of course, that Gabby is unfortunately deceased. So if there's ever going to be any prosecutions in this case, it's going to depend on the answers that law enforcement gets from interviewing third parties to see if there's anybody else who may have helped perpetrate any crimes or conceal any crimes or otherwise impede the investigation.
Evidence seems to be building that he was very possibly abusive to her. From the 911 call to the people saw them at and saw Brian Laundrie at the restaurant. If you go back to that moment when they were separated on the side of the road there in Utah, what do you think should have happened at that point that would have prevented this result?
Sure, Dana, and I've gone back and I've looked at all this, the entirety of the situation, and I respect their judgment, and of course, police do have discretion to not make an arrest, but I think probably they should have made an arrest because, they had an eyewitness who says that they saw Brian using physical violence against Gabby, and they may have even had some other information that she was also involved in some type of mutual combat. But at a bare minimum, that investigation on the side of that road developed, I believe, probable cause that would have been sufficient to charge one or both of them with some type of domestic violence. Under the totality of the circumstances, I think the law enforcement officers would have been on sound legal grounds to have made that arrest. And of course, I'm not blaming the Utah police or anything like that, but of course, if there had been an arrest made, and under the law out there in not only Utah, but in most states, there's a heavy presumption in favor of making an arrest in a domestic violence case when it's a close call. And the reason for that is so that parties are definitely separated from each other when tensions are high. And we know, if nothing else, that these two had at least at times, a tension-filled and tumultuous relationship.
Very quickly, I'm curious because you say if there was an arrest made in that, we might not be talking about this today. You believe that might have saved Gabby's life quickly?
Well, certainly, Trace, I think it could have changed the trajectory of things because what they did, if you look back at what happened, is they suggested, I think, that Gabby sleep in the van and that Brian Laundrie go into a hotel, and then there was no other mechanisms in place to sort of guarantee that the two were physically separated when tensions were high. Mm-hmm. And that is the reason why law enforcement, in most instances, when they investigated domestic violence, in any case, if they have probable cause, chances are they're going to take someone to jail because that guarantees an immediate separation of the parties.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you, Philip. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Philip.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right, that's said information that's coming from Fox News. Let me finish this commentary. With the city of Moab in Utah announcing an investigation into the police handling of an August 12th domestic dispute involving Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, experts say the officers may have acted appropriately based on incomplete information. It's proper if they determine that it's only a mental health situation, because now officers are being trained, because people get shot, to handle mental health situations differently than they handle regular cases. Suzanne Gustin, a Salt Lake City-based defense attorney, told Fox News Friday, "You want to de-escalate. You don't want to necessarily arrest somebody who was having a mental health episode. Under Utah law, police are required to either arrest the suspect or issue a citation in a domestic violence situation. They have no discretion in the matter," she said. So it says, either arrest the suspect or issue a citation in a domestic violence situation. It says, former Moab police chief urges public to wait and see amid domestic response investigation. So I don't know if this former Moab is somebody that used to be one, or somebody that just stepped down. I don't have any information on that yet. The statute's clear because it says shall, Gustin said. And that's very important, because when it says shall in a statute, it means they have to do it. But body cam video of police responding to the domestic incident, which Fox News Digital first reported, shows officers debating how to proceed before ultimately deciding that Petito, who they were told was the aggressor by herself, Laundrie, and a witness, was having a mental health break and was not a domestic violence suspect. If they followed the law strictly, she's the one who would have gotten the citation or been taken to jail, Gustin said. Moab police did not immediately respond to a Fox News request for comment. They were trying to calm the situation down, she said. So even in that situation, I think they did the right thing by making them separate for the night. And when you go into the said commentary, Michael Ruiz, who's a reporter, has a affidavit here for the arrest for Mr. Brian Laundrie for bank fraud, and it has all the docket of United States versus Brian Christopher Laundrie. It has all the document numbers inside. It has the actual indictment inside of this article. And if you want a copy of this, please go to Fox News, Gabby Petito homicide. Utah officers may not have had all the information responding to the Moab incident. The actual affidavit is inside of this article. It says, however, critical information was not available to the officers at the scene. A witness had called a non-emergency line to report he had seen Laundrie slapping and hitting Petito. With that information, Gustin said police may have considered Laundrie the aggressor, not Petito, and made an arrest. People are coming down on the officers here, and they didn't have a very critical piece of information, she said. I think the dispatcher is going to be in big hot water. The caller who reported the incident between Laundrie and Petito on August 12th told the dispatcher that the gentleman was slapping the girl and hitting her, Fox News confirmed Monday, after exclusively obtaining the audio of the call. He was slapping her, the dispatcher asked. Yes, the caller answered. And then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off. Lordy have mercy. Without being aware of the allegation that Laundrie had physically struck Petito, officers may have misinterpreted the situation, said Kit Gurrell, a longtime advocate for domestic violence victims who works alongside police, and said she greatly respects them. It's quite common in domestic violence cases when law enforcement roll up that the victim is upset and crying and hysterical, and the offender is cool, calm, and collected, she said to Fox News Friday. And that's exactly what appeared on body cam video of the incident. Petito was in tears, and Laundrie appeared calm and soft-spoken. But Petito did not dispute Laundrie's stories that she was the aggressor, and contradictory witness statements did not appear to have been discussed by officers at the scene. So that's very pivotal. Officers did not discuss at that scene on that body cam what the caller called in. So perhaps they did not know he had just slapped her previously for a call to go into the non-emergency dispatch. And also in this said article, you will see the video of the said incident where the police is talking to both Laundrie and Petito. She was obviously very upset, Gurrell said. She articulated her thoughts and feelings in much the way that domestic violence victims oftentimes do. They blame themselves. Gabby blaming herself is a major red flag, indicating that she was a domestic violence victim, she said. At that point, the officers could have called in a domestic violence victims advocate according to Gurrell, and that person may have been able to deduce more information about what actually happened. Gurrell said another red flag was Laundrie allegedly threatening to take Petito's phone and drive off without her, as one witness stated. But Laundrie appeared to convince officers that Petito had a breakdown and attacked him and even struck up chit-chat as they drove him away from the van. What is horrifying to me is that interaction with law enforcement. I just wonder what that drive up from Moab to the Tetons was like for Gabby, she said. I just fear he felt tremendously emboldened by the interaction that he had with law enforcement. After leaving Utah, the couple reached Grand Teton National Park near Jackson Hole, Wyoming, around August 25th. I think that in looking at all the video, the good and the bad, that's a typical domestic violence cycle, Gustin said, and of them making up and kissing on the beach and holding hands and being happy. Domestic abusers tend to balance out their abuse with apologizes and warmth, she said. It's the typical abuse cycle, she said. They explode and then they feel better when they got all their anger out. On August 27th, Laundrie was seen arguing with female restaurant workers at Perry Piglet's in Jackson Hole, and that is in Wyoming. It may have been, or is that Utah? Excuse me, this is Jackson Hole. Anyway, it may have been the last time Petito was seen in public. At one point, Petito apologized for Laundrie's behavior, and that could have set up the next fight, according to Gustin. Because she was embarrassed, because she went back into the restaurant to apologize for his behavior, he probably went ballistic over that, she speculated. The fact that she went and took sides with the wait staff instead of him. And this is a very valid point. And so once they got back in the van, they probably had a huge blowout fight. Laundrie showed up at his parents' Florida home in Petito's van on September 1st. Her mother reported her missing 10 days later. Investigators found her remains at a campground near Jackson Hole on Sunday, and the FBI on Thursday named him in a federal arrest warrant for alleged debit card fraud during his drive home. Gurrell said there are nonviolent and non-sexual signs of domestic abuse that do not constitute criminal offenses that the public should be aware of, including manipulation, isolation, and intimidation. Learn more about the power and control wheel here. And if you need verification for the said source that I've brought to you, Fox News is the source. Thank you all so much for joining Everyday Shenanigans. This is a disturbing story. No matter how you weigh it, no matter what you think of the people involved in the story, of the family members, the relatives, the friends, in the end, there is a woman that is dead. She lied out in the middle of nowhere alone. And possibly, as this person said in this commentary, she was fearful for her safety on her ride with Mr. Laundrie. And perhaps she chopped it up at some point because, as they said, there are pictures showing them in a better space after this said incident. So who knows what was the final blow that led to her death? And some will probably say that literally. What was the final altercation that led to the death of Gabby Petito? What was said? What had she done? Did she quick-tongue him, something he said or did? Did he scold her? One thing led to another. A push, a shove, a pinch. And yes, it mentions him wanting to lock her out of the van, which, yes, that's a cruel thing to do, considering that was her automobile, is her automobile. You going to lock me out of my own damn car? You've got nerve. You see, she didn't have the gumption like some of us sisters. Because some of us would have said, hell, I don't give a damn if I don't know my way back to Florida or New York. I'm out of here. I'm going to leave you where you stand. Because I've had enough of you, Brian Laundrie. I wish on that fateful day, and possibly days and weeks before, months before, because I don't know how long this abuse went on, I wish that pretty girl had said, fuck you, Brian Laundrie. I'm done with you. And you see, there would have never been a trip to Wyoming. Period. Well, she could have said that as well. But the point is, this is not a situation that probably just started with a 2-year relationship. 9 times out of 10, Well, there was 2 years of them living in that location. However long the relationship went on, there's no telling when it started. And the point is, had she folded or he folded, we wouldn't be talking about either one. Maybe she did. Maybe she did what? Well, what I'm saying is, had she left the relationship before Wyoming, had she left him alone before the trip went on her way? Well, see, listen, y'all not listening. She has family. She had a car. She could have easily, in Florida, New York, kept it moving. She wasn't living with this man without a car. She has a car. She went out with her friends to do things. He hid her ID allegedly, or she suspected he did. So you see, she's had a way to leave Mr. Laundrie, but she chose to stay, probably hoping he would change, but he did not. So then she goes out in the middle of nowhere with a monster. Because you see, this is one thing none of you have touched on. You don't know what he was doing to her in Florida. Come on, Queen. You have no idea what he was doing to her in Florida. I know all of that, you guys. I am woke to the story. You're not listening. If this has been going on some time, she had adamant time to leave Mr. Laundrie. She had her own car. She was making her own money. She could have easily left the relationship, left the house where she was staying with his parents. It's not like she was staying there with no car, no way to get around. She had a way to get around, but she continued to stay with this guy. And that's the bad part of the story, is that she stayed. And that's why I'm making the point. We don't even know how long this has been going on, how he treated her in his parents' house. God forbid he was dogging her out in the house and they sit idly by and didn't even say a word. Because now we see their mom now getting a lawyer. And that's another thing about this story. Why would I go get a lawyer for my son if he's dead? Stay woke. Brian Laundrie is not dead. You can best believe he has told his parents something about Wyoming. They concocted a plan to get him gone. And then they went and waited for the information of the indictment. And they went and took their coins and bought them a damn lawyer. Well, my thing is the parents are part of the problem as well, because as I said, you don't know how he was treating her in Florida. The friend Rose just gave you a situation of them trying to go out to dance and her ID comes up missing. 9 times out of 10, he took her ID and he hid it. So that's why I said you don't know how long this has been going on. She did have a way out, but she continued and stayed with him. The worst part is she went on a long haul trip with a monster. I do not believe this was his first time popping off in Wyoming. The fact that she was crying on a video cam from the police, the fact that there's another altercation in another state in Utah at this Tex-Mex restaurant, it shows you he's been mistreating her. She's been crying over this food. This has been going on some time. And had this sweet person been done with this boy, possibly she'd be alive today had she just left him alone. Because it's obvious. You've got people talking about what he did at the restaurant in Utah. It's a whole nother state. Back in Wyoming, we've got video cam from the cops. She's crying So he's been showing out. She's been crying over whatever he did or said. They fuss and fight, push, shove each other, whichsoever. This has been going on. And the sad part is about this story, besides both of them going back and forth with each other, is how long it was probably going on and the fact that they were doing it in the house with his parents. So what did the parents say? You mean to tell me they argued in the garage? They went to the stop sign to argue? Hell no, they didn't. They argued in that house and the parents listened. And they should have said something. This is my house. This won't go on in here. And I'd have told my son that because I wouldn't take sides. I'd say, go get your own place and you can argue there, but you're not going to argue in mine. You're not going to argue in mine. Go get your own place. And I also would tell my son and tell her too. It doesn't seem like you two are getting on well. Perhaps you two need to go your separate ways. We're not getting into the who's and the whys and the wheres, but it doesn't look like you're getting on. So perhaps you two need to separate for good. That's how you kill two birds with one stone, literally. You call a spade, and you tell the people the truth. Because you see, each person is disrespecting the other one plus themselves by bickering and bantering, playing mind games. Then you're doing it inside of somebody else's house. So that's disrespectful to the parents. Although now, after the fact, they're aiding their son, and nobody can make me believe that they are not aiding their child. They are aiding their child. They are aiding their son. And that's why I tell you all to always listen to the information that has been brought to you. Everyone is worrying about the preserve, the reserve, whatever you call it, the swamp. He ain't in no damn swamp because his parents went and got a lawyer. You think I'm going to waste my money on a damn lawyer if I think my child is dead? Come on, Queen. Let me wait to see if my son contacts me. Y'all ain't listening. He possibly did, Barb. You see, you're not listening. They telling you everything you need to know if you just listen. I know my son alive, but I'm not going to tell you that because I don't owe you no explanation because that's my child. I brought him here. And as Bill Cosby once said, I brought you here and I'll be the one to take you out. Do you understand what I'm saying? They know damn well he's alive. That's the whole purpose of the meeting with the attorney. What did I tell you all the other day? You're getting an attorney, but the crime is in Wyoming. So what is the attorney going to do? Fly out there, or they're going to have a virtual meeting because of COVID-19? Stay woke. Everything you need to know is at the beginning of the story. I keep telling you, you don't need no other sources to tell you what you've already seen with your own eyes and what you're hearing with your own ears. Mommy and daddy been known about Wyoming. They know he killed that girl, but they don't talk about it because people don't share them kind of secrets. We ain't gonna speak of it. We know that thing we brought here killed that girl. We saw it coming and we aided it and never put our foot down and made our son be a damn man and tell him to own up to his responsibility for his anger issues. Check yourself because we don't do violence in this house. You want to go beat up on somebody? Go out there and get your damn punching bag Everlast and beat it down till you can't beat it no more. But you're not going to touch this girl. And what I would have done had I known my child been beating on her, I'd have told him something and her too. I'd have said, let me tell you something, homeboy, your ass can't stay here. You got to go. And girlfriend, you need a one-way ticket out my house. We're going to help you get back to New York to your parents' house because you can't stay here either. That's what decent parents do. So that way, we don't have a Gabby Petito story. You see, at some point, we have got to stop giving social media and the news a reason to discuss us, talk about us, make videos about us. We have to own our part. And the parents could have stopped all of that too, because they could have told that spoiled brat they've been coddling, you can't stay here, go get your own damn place, a full-time job, but you can't stay here. Gabby, baby, we like you, but you can't stay here either. because we're not going to condone this behavior between you two. You see, you call a spade a spade. This is the reason why the world is in the shape that it's in, because people continue to coddle grown people, aid grown people, covet grown people, baby grown people. It ain't going to never change until we say, I can't hold you up any longer. You got to step out on faith. You have got to be an adult. Because you see, many of us, we were not afforded the opportunity to have parents to baby us. There was no safety net, a place to lay up and not work, a place to lay up and have sex and drink and get high and invite all our friends over and slumber in our mama and daddy house and eat out the refrigerator when we felt like it and made a mess and don't clean our rooms, don't empty the trash, don't do nothing but just be a sloppy damn pig because my mammy and daddy don't want to tell me no. Well, it's time for everybody to get up and act like you're damn grown. She'd be alive today had somebody folded. Had somebody folded. So I'm going to say this to the Laundries. You have done your son a disservice. You brought that demon spawn into the world, and 9 times out of 10, you've been seeing the signs of a narcissistic child, and perhaps one of you is a narcissist, a grand narcissist, and perhaps he learned it from one of you or both, or perhaps you just babied him and the devil was born. But in the end, no matter what, how he came to be, you allowed him to wreak havoc under your roof, and he was not a child. He was an adult, and you had no business allowing that thing to lay up in your house having sexual relations with a woman that wasn't his wife. Queen gonna talk junk today. You want to go to church? I'll take you to church. You let him fornicate in your house with a woman that wasn't his wife. Come on, Queen. Now, how you like them apples? Call a spade a spade. That's what's wrong with us. We get away with things because what we've been allowed to do. Like a troublemaker that wreaks trouble all the time. Everywhere they go, they stir up shit from here to there. On their job, at home, over here, over there. And that's why they are the way they are. Because we allow them to be little demon seeds. You see, I can't keep doing stuff unless somebody's allowing me to. Because see, most people have learned the hard way by being a fool and a demon seed. Somebody didn't hit them in the right vein and hit them to the white meat to show them you can't keep doing certain things. And perhaps Mr. Laundrie is one of those said people. He ain't been hit upside the damn head yet. But all I can say is if you're out there in them streets right now thinking you're going to keep living, baby, we already know you ain't got the mindset because you was living with your mama, 2 weeks ago. So we know you ain't going to make it. You're going to have to do drastic things such as what you did to Gabby to survive. And that's the part that's even scarier. What will Brian Laundrie do to sustain out there? See, y'all don't stay woke. You ain't thought nothing about that, have you? You ain't thought about another Andrew Cunanan. I got to keep murdering folks to get some money in my pocket. I got to keep dumping cars and carjacking people to get to the next location. You better stay woke. The DC sniper did it. Andrew Cunanan did it. So many others have done it. You think you're going to be able to stay out there in them streets without no money and no resources? And you used to eating and sleeping and hot water, washing your hair, shaving, getting a haircut? Come on, Queen. He will have to do drastic things to survive out here, such as what he did to Gabby Petito. Yes, he's a danger to everyone. So if they don't find that SOB, we may be looking at another Gabby Petito or John Doe somewhere. You can weigh it how you want pertaining to Moab, Utah's decision to not cite one of them. Still wouldn't have mattered had they given one a citation. They still would have ended up together. And that is one thing that I question in this storyline is how did these two end up back together if indeed they were separated and she went to a motel or he went to a motel? Well, how did they get back together? Thank you so much. How did they get back together? Well, Deborah, he had a woman, so another woman would be with him. So you never can say, what you doing with him? Why you want her? Why you want him? He ain't no good. She ain't no good. Well, see, that's the gist of the story. Most of us are attracted to no-gooders. Because some of us like playing Mr. and Mrs. Fix-It. I can be the one that changed her or him. I got it going on. But see, what you don't understand is it ain't your job to change other people. See, it's best to find people that's already put together. Come on, Queen. You see, let me tell you something. For those of you that love shopping at the mall, you remember that store where you buy the teddy bear? And in there you could buy him little clothes and put on him. Little shoes to put on him. I think most of you know what I'm talking about. You see, that's a store for children. Come on, Queen. Put a blue hat on, a red jumpsuit, checkerboard shoes. That's for children, not adults. Build-A-Bear, yes. See, Build-A-Bears are for children, not adults. Who the hell want to build a damn bear and grown? Flawed we all are, but I don't want to build you and put you together. And I don't recommend it for a 22-year-old, let alone 52-year-olds. Stay woke. You see, as I said in my commentary yesterday or previously, we give young people excuses to be fuck-ups because we all were young and we all fucked up at some point. But you see, I don't recommend anybody, even in their 20s, to be a fuck up. Because what I tell you is you can get wrapped up into something and you can't get out, or you can tarnish your name and mess yourself up because you got tangled up with a fool, or you made frivolous mistakes that you can't return from. So what I say to anybody over 18, handle your business and walk the tightrope so you can have a prosperous life. You can have a good life. You don't have to worry about bail bondsmen. You don't have to worry about being locked up. You don't got to worry about being an addict. You don't got to worry about being an alcoholic. You don't have to worry about getting pregnant, knocked up, trifling baby daddies, being a trifling baby mama. You can be the best you can be because you were on the right path. And you saw foolishness and called it a spade and said, I don't want none of that. I'm better than that. That's my message for a 22-year-old today. You ain't got to make no damn mistakes. It don't look right. It don't smell right. It ain't right. Keep it moving. Enjoy your life. Because you see, Gabby ain't here because she stayed with the wrong MF. And she can't go back now. Enjoy your life. Enjoy all of your life. You see, I told you all this story, and I'm going to check out of here because I'm going to get on with my life tonight because God is good and I'm highly favored. You see, the mistakes you make by the company you keep can get you killed. That's why my mother's baby sister is no longer alive, because she didn't know when to say no to the wrong man, and he murdered her and left her to die on a Memphis sidewalk. You don't hear me. Make better choices. make better choices. Prayers for the Petito family. Prayers for Deshina Kyle, who I believe may have made the same road and traveled the road that Miss Gabby is on. She's been missing 3 months from Knoxville, Tennessee. And now this week, the police thinks that she is possibly deceased and that the boyfriend that's incarcerated is a person of interest. So you see, you have got to take care of yourself, because the decisions you make today may be your last decision you make because of the company that you keep. Prayers for the Kyle family, Petito family. Prayers for Mr. Chad Carr, who's currently missing out on East Tennessee, Clinton, Tennessee. Prayers for all domestic violence victims and survivors. Know that you are worthy and you are valuable, and that there is somebody out there who will treat you with the respect and dignity that you deserve, so that you can have a full and prosperous, happy life, and that you will not end up a news story because you would not leave the fold. God bless all of you. If you want to donate to the channel, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. I want to thank my new supporters, my new subscribers. God bless you all for following the content. Thank you. I'm almost at 9,000 subscribers. Thank you, Mr. AB, for sharing my content. Thank you for those who unsubscribe. Hey, Queen is not worried. I'm highly favored, and I thank you all so very much. God bless all of you. Have a safe weekend. Brian Laundrie, we're going to find you. We're going to find you. Because I know you can't hang out there. Because it ain't cutting you. And we're going to find you. And we're going to get justice for Gabby Petito. This is Everyday Shenanigans. I love all of you too, baby. Bye-bye.